So I had a weird dentist visit experience. I booked an appointment with my dentist a couple months ago, and frankly, the appointment they gave me was too far in the future. I didn't like it. I didn't want to wait 2 months. Rocky, where's your dentist loyalty? Somewhere with my dental insurance, I suppose. I called this new dentist because despite what their website says, they in fact do not book appointments online. You will wait. I call them and I say, "Are you the dentist right off Ditmars Boulevard? That's where I want to go. Right off the subway." "We're off the subway, yes." "Okay, off Ditmars Boulevard." "Off the subway," she says. Bam, let's do this thing. Book an appointment knowing in my heart I've been lied to. Call it female intuition, call it telepathy, call it dumb luck. I just knew. The day of the appointment comes along, I walk into what I think is going to be my dentist that I asked for over the phone, right off the subway at Ditmars Boulevard. When I walk into this office, the lights are off, but there's a receptionist, and she's looking at me like I got 8 heads. "Hi, I'm here for my 3:30. Finish that sentence with a cartoon gulp, you know the one, and then I held my breath. "Oh, no, you're not. We are closed today." Damn it. I knew this was going to happen. You know, the girl on the phone felt off to me, and when I said, "Is this the dentist right off Ditmars Boulevard?" she didn't give me a straight answer. This lady looked like she'd heard the quote, "Are you not entertained?" many, many times in her life. "Okay, do you want to make an appointment with us when we're open?" "Nah, I'm good." Turned into a 33-year-old female Larry David. Cool. "Are you sure?" "Okay, I'm here." "Great. Here's our card. We open at 8 a.m. on Monday." I don't know why she gave me this information while I was standing in front of her and she was sitting in front of her turned on computer, because it wasn't 7:59 and 59 seconds a.m. o'clock on Monday morning. It was 3:32 on a Friday. Egg on my face. I call the dentist where I'm supposed to be and I say, "Hey, where are you?" And he says, "Where are you?" And I say, "I'm at Ditmars Boulevard. The last lady at your office I talked to said yes when I asked if you were the one off Ditmars Boulevard." I don't think I understand, ma'am. "Where is your office?" "Oh, our office is off Broadway." "Okay, well, that's too far for me now." Not in life. It was just far from where I wanted the timeline of my day to go, you know. "Do you know? Are you going to come in for your appointment, Miss Powell?" "I'm not. Not today. I'll have to reschedule." I walk home defeated, and then I remember this is the only office that had appointments near me soon. I call him back. "Hey, baby, I'm sorry about all that hollering before. Let me stop playing. What's that Monday looking like, huh?" "That Monday's looking like a Friday, bitch." Friday it is, a week from where we stand. We fast forward to this Friday. I take a couple puffs for the road. I get in the zone. Big mistake. Huge. I walk to the dentist. I immediately get a weird feeling. Great. I should have known. I knew on the phone, but I just should have known. The receptionist asked me, "So would you just like a cleaning?" "Yeah, that'd be great. Keep it simple, check for any property damage, and I'll be on my way." Then this woman pops out of nowhere and says, "You'll have to get x-rays. I'm sure my associate," yeah, she said associate, "failed to tell you, and I'm so sorry about that. But you will have to get x-rays." No, I don't have to get x-rays. I'm good with just the cleaning." To which she responds, "It's the law." This woman really went and brought the law inside my mouth with the quickness. "It's illegal for us to clean your teeth without x-rays." "Okay, but they don't even arrest white boys for murder. You don't have to give me x-rays. You're good." "Also, don't x-rays take a while?" "Yeah, kinda." Doesn't even try to lie this time. Hashtag Ditmars Boulevard. Can I just not get them? It's the law, unfortunately. Hey, lady, a lot of things are the law, but I'm still gonna do 73 and a 55, you dig? I sit down, I'm in the dentist chair, and immediately I felt like this whole thing was a sham. A sham scam. There were no degrees on the wall. Where are the degrees? Dentistry and doctorstry are two places I want to see you brag about that accomplishment. Give us the goods. If you get paid because of your scalpel skills, the more degrees, the better. No. This room had one poster that looked like someone Googled poster for dentist office simple. She throws the x-ray thing on my chest, and I immediately feel paranoid because of those bong rips I took before I left the house. And I'm looking at the poster. And all I can picture is the movie The Interview, when they realize that all the grocery stores in North Korea are fake, and then my wheels start turning, and before she can take the x-rays, I get this overwhelming feeling that I've been here before. So I blurt out, "Did this place used to be another dentist?" "Yeah, not too long ago." Yes, I've been here. This was my old dentist." "Did that dentist close?" "Well, yes, but it's the same owner." "Oh, same owner. That's great. You have my x-rays on file. I don't need x-rays." I figured it all out, you guys. So the x-ray lady goes and gets Lori Law Follower, and I say, "Lori Law Follower, there's been a mix-up. I've been here before. You have my files. Let's just jump to the cleaning." "Yeah, I searched your files, and no, we don't." "But x-ray lady said this was the dentist's office before. I know, I've been here." "You haven't. There are 2 other dentists on this block. Maybe you mean one of them, but welcome." Now I'm laying here, x-ray after x-ray, and like a lightning bulb getting turned on, I realize I was in fact wrong. My dentist is the dentist from the beginning of the story, where I booked an appointment months in advance because that's all they had. They still exist. They haven't been replaced by this sham dentist I made up in my mind. This place did not in fact replace my dentist. The cleaning goes great, except I'm mortified the entire time. Do I have any cavities? No, you look good. You'll just make sure you make another appointment so the dentist can take a look. In 6 months, right? No, in the next week or so. Where is the dentist? They're not here. So now I have to come back a second time before my next cleaning? That's like getting an oil change, then coming back a week later to check in with the mechanic to make sure the oil's still inside. If everything looks good, why do I have to come back? And where is the dentist? Finishing up that degree that's not on the wall? I make an appointment that I'll cancel, of course, for sure. And then I'll go back to my regular dentist, which I passed immediately upon leaving this mind maze I experienced. I realized in retelling this chaotic tale, my role in the catastrophe, sure. I do. But you know I'm right about those degrees.
Time for
the
Welcome to the Rocky Rundown, where you get to learn a little bit about my week. Party God Squad, hello! Did you have a great week? Did you shake your ass and smoke some grass? I sure hope so. I saw some amazing comedy shows this week. I'm bopping around dating, and I am embracing it. Sometimes I feel like a sexy little Charlotte. And then sometimes I feel like a free-flowing Carrie, and my vibrator treats me like a dirty little Samantha, while my house-closed mirror that of a lazy Miranda, baby. Meow. Couple of ways I'd like to improve the world. I'm American. I get it. I'm living through the pandemic in this country. I saw this country refuse to wash its hands, among other things. But when you're in public, just wash your hands the alphabet. That's it. Say the alphabet and wash your hands in a public restroom. If a person is next to you, don't get dirty, get clean. The only exception to this are those sinks that you need one hand to hold up the thing and the other hand you're like washing with your hand. In those cases, break that sink so the owner is forced to buy a real fucking sink. The bottom line is just wash your hands, people. I'm seeing too many people burst out of the bathroom with a palm drier than the desert. I feel like an outcast because I don't like fruit in my water. This type of water is just out here trying to be like sangria in a Hampton Inn lobby at 8 a.m. on a Sunday, and I just brushed my teeth. Just be yourself, water. I've been thinking a lot about Pete and Kim I've personally been on the Pete train, chugga chugga choo choo, since his Netflix special, so miss me with the what's the appeal. Pete Davidson is smoking hot, and I don't know why people try and push this narrative that he's not. It's not working. A lot of people are attracted to him, so shh. He is 1 foot and 1 inch taller than her. In order for me to manifest the same energy and imagery for my life, I'd need to date a fake Pete Davidson who's 6 feet, 5.5 inches tall. That's your guts, though. He's rearranging your guts at that point. They do say that positive change starts from the inside. That brings us to Rocky's highest thoughts, my most stoned thoughts of the week. Number 1, Diana Ross is an icon, a legend, and a star. Can we please stop scoring every goddamn detergent commercial to I'm coming out? It's enough. Number 2, if there was true blue world peace, would dogs still need to be on leashes? Number 3, in the 4th grade, I sold bootleg Usher Raymond and Savage Garden cassette tapes to my classmates. That was my main hustle, and I think about it often. Number 4, sometimes you have to say, not yet, to life's weird shit. Number 5, you could have a nickname that you don't even know by a stranger you've never even met because you frequent the same place as them, but one time you did something weird. For example, I laughed alone outside once listening to a podcast, and now I think someone who may have seen it calls me Heath Ledger, but they really mean Joaquin Phoenix. Are you following? Number 6, model yourself after Snoop Dogg as often as possible and the world will be a better place. My guest this week is actor and comedian Gary De Noia. I've known Gary a long time, and watching him gain traction and a really large following by sticking true to his hilarious comedy has been quite a treat. His wild word was run away, but you should stick around. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can find me at Wild Nights with Rocky on TikTok and Instagram, at Wild Nights Pod on Twitter. I'd like to thank past you and future you for writing that amazing review on Apple Podcasts. It really does make a difference. You're all members of the Party God Squad, but that is your membership fee. And now, please enjoy my Wild Nights conversation with Gary De Noia. Gary, welcome. Thank you for doing the podcast.
How are you? Thank you for having me. I have to be honest, Rocky. I got a little Jesse Spano moment right now, because I'm so excited and we know each other, but I'm also scared because as we discussed before we went live, this is like one of those scenarios where it's like a long time listener, first time caller, but like I'm more than a caller. I'm actually a guest. So I'm just so excited to not only as a podcast host, you kind of have like a blossoming career as a songwriter.
Oh, thank you, Gary. Well, you are a guest, but you're also a friend.
Yes.
We've known each other many years through the Pit community, and it's funny you say Jesse Spano because actually, do you remember a long time ago when you used to do the Saved by the Bell? It was like improvised Saved by the Bell, and you cast me as Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah.
That was a childhood dream come true. I love Kelly Kapowski.
Oh, well, that was such a fun show, and it was like a good crowd, and it was always a good time because it was always like I always loved getting to produce like improv shows like that where it's like, who are the people? Because we usually get put on teams that you have to audition for.
Right.
And like, fortunately, I was on a team with people that I love to play with, but like, there's still always those people that you get to watch. It's like, ooh, it's like you're like a kid in a candy store.
Yes.
It's like, ooh, I want to play with this person. So I selfishly created that show as a way for me to just play with people I want to play with.
I don't think it's selfish. I think in the entertainment industry, as minute as improv, a small improv community, to as big as like gigantic performers, people want to work with people that they want to work with, and everyone is a content creator in their own right. You kind of have to be in 2021 if you want anybody to see your stuff. So you should pick and choose the people that you want to work with.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think the thing too, maybe you realize like the more you're like in the game, so to speak, or the older you get, it's not only do you want to play with people who you think are funny and talented, it's like you just want to be around people that are like good people that that you enjoy being around off stage. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I do know what you mean because that's where most of the fun happens. That's one of the reasons I started this podcast was because of the pandemic. I was really missing that after show camaraderie that all the comedians had after improv shows or what have you. So I was like, hi, I just want to talk to funny people every week. And luckily, because of Zoom, you can do that. And yeah, now when you're planning shows, you don't have as many options, or a lot of the people that we like started out doing comedy with, they're not here anymore because they all were runaways.
Oh, okay. I see where you went with that. It's true. I mean, there are some people that went home during all this,
Yeah.
to wherever they came from. That sounds harsh, but it's true. It's like luckily, like
Yeah.
for me, I'm a Jersey boy, so I didn't have that like, I'm
You
not going
didn't,
anywhere.
yeah, you did not have to run away. So Gary's wild word was runaway. So Gary and I have a lot to talk about other than his wild night story, but that is the meat, that is the juice. So Gary, give us your wild night story, runaway.
All right, I'm excited to tell this because, like it was like at a very transformative point in my life.
Okay.
I was single for the first time in my life, living in Hoboken, having a ton of fun partying.
Oh my
And
God, yeah.
to set the stage, this story takes place in 2013. So this album is still like one of my top 5 albums, very important to me. But it, like, you know how you say like sense memory, like things you eat
Yeah.
or things you, so like Random Access Memories by Daft Punk
Okay.
came out, I think, in like May of 2013. So that was like the soundtrack of our summer,
Mm,
and for most of the year. So this story kind of starts at a restaurant job that I was working at in Hoboken. And these people are now like my chosen family. So I'm very
yeah.
grateful that these people are still in my life. But, Hoboken is a party town. If
Yeah.
people don't know, your listeners don't know, it's a square mile, and it's the largest bar per capita in the whole country. It's pretty much
Hoboken's
just a bar
fun.
town.
Yeah, it's
It's
fun.
fun and it's reckless. It's almost like did you ever watch True Blood?
I watched the first two seasons. Yeah.
Perfect. So the second season, that the villain, her name was Marianne. She was a Maynard, right? Like her
Okay.
power was like, remember how she just like made people just want to fight and fuck all the time?
Oh, yes, 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 yes,
To
yes.
where like the whole town of Bontom, eventually Bontoms or whatever, they were doing was like, she was like some sort of like old like goddess or whatever. And
Yeah.
that's what there's like this mist over Hoboken. I truly believe it, where like it's just it's almost like the fairy dust of Never Land, where like it's
Yeah.
just a town where people do not want to grow up. So
Yeah.
there's still people now that are like all these years later that are still doing the same shit I was then, but are much
They're
older.
much older. Yeah.
So, anyways, our routine would be, we get out of work like usually around 11.
Yeah.
And our salad guy, his name was Slime. He was our Molly guy.
Yeah.
So that summer was like, I feel like peak Molly season.
Mm-hmm.
So like as the night would end, we would go to the salad station, get our fucking Molly pills.
Yeah.
And since we worked together, he would hook us up.
Yeah.
So after we'd go in the locker room, take our uniforms off, like we would already pop a capsule there. So by the time I lived 2 blocks away, I'd go home, take a shower. When that hot water was hitting my face, I was already
It's
starting to
you're
feel it.
getting the tingles. How many people in the group were taking Molly?
Usually like 4 of us.
Four of us. Okay, so nice crew.
A really nice crew.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would do that and we would go dance around town. But this story progressed because Molly wasn't good enough for us that night.
Ooh.
We wanted some Coke.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
wanted some Colombian clam chowder. And at that time, like it wasn't as easily as accessible, or I didn't have enough connects.
Right.
So sometimes a person like, when we were really in a pinch, in this instance, we would go to this guy who was a regular at this restaurant
Yeah.
and lived like pretty much like above it. But he was kind of a creep. Uh,
Naturally.
and I don't want to say his name because Hoboken's a small town. It's like if you ever heard this, like he might fucking have me killed. Like this is
We
like
yeah, we protect the innocent and not so innocent on Wild Night, so you do not have to say his name. You can come up with a fun name for him if you're going to reference him multiple times.
So let's just call him like Duddy Martini. That's the way he
Okay.
would say it, because like he was like I think from Staten Island. He'd be like, he would always come into the restaurant, be like, I want a Duddy Martini, extra olive Duddy
Yeah.
Martini.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
anyways, our girls, since he was predatory, our girls call him up And of course, he wants them to come by themselves.
Right.
So like I'm like a big brother type of guy. I'm very like, protective. Or
Mm-hmm.
even at the pit, some people would call me like Uncle Gary.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I think
I
I
was
do
like,
remember that. Yeah, yeah.
because I would just like be the dude that would like go see everyone's shows and like that, like I was just fun to support people.
Yes.
Especially because it was funny. So I'm like on Molly, and when you're on Molly, you're in a good mood, but you're very insistent, you're very talkative. And in
Oh, yeah.
Hoboken, I would either try and get laid
Mm-hmm.
or like give myself a character exercise. So some nights I would go out in wigs
Yeah.
to just like see if people believed me. The only people that knew were like the bouncers when they look at my ID.
Yeah.
They would, because they're like, "Why do you have a fucking wig on?" I'll be like, "Just go with it, man."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me
so
be.
so for some reason, I'm like, "Girls, I gotta go with you. I gotta go with you." And I'm like,
Well,
"Don't
not
worry,
for
we got
some
this."
reason. Like you were going because you knew, like they don't need to be at this Coke. What is it? Martini, dirty martini.
Dirty, because it's dirty, but
Yeah.
like the way he would say, it's like, "Dirty, I need a
Yeah.
dirty martini."
So
So
don't say
anyway,
no reason. You're doing it because you are being Uncle Gary.
listen, it's 2021. I don't
Yeah.
want your listeners to be like, "Oh, what we need is a white
Oh,
savior."
yeah.
Like it's not like that.
No, no, no.
So I could have just rode with them, but for whatever reason, I cooked up this story. I was like, "Girls, I'm gonna sit in the back seat, passed out."
Yeah.
Okay. And they're like, "Gary, you don't need to do this." I'm like, "No, no, listen. Just tell him if he asks, I'm a runaway and my name is Cody. And you guys just found me in the street and picked me up." And they're like, "Gary, I don't think that's necessary." So
Yeah.
every time, like when we pull up, we see him walking out, and I'm like playing dead. But
Right.
every like 2 seconds, I pop up. I'm like, "Don't forget, I'm a runaway named Cody."
Right. Right.
So then they're on Molly too. So they're like Cody. It's like, yeah, because the guy knows me.
Yeah.
So if he see me,
Were
he'd be
they
like,
driving on Molly?
yeah.
Oh my God. I cannot even imagine that with your eyes fluttering and like how good the steering wheel would feel. I'd be like, oh my God, it might just feel so good to drive off this bridge.
But
Oh
yeah,
my
especially
God.
listening to like Daft Punk, like there's every track on it is great, but just like doing it right, it's like doing it right.
Yeah.
I've
Don't drive on Molly.
But our wheel woman, Danielle, or Danny, what we call her, like she would always be the driver because she
Yeah.
lived in Weehawken, which is like less than a mile away.
Yeah.
And it was a routine game of bumper cars, like
Right.
backing in and out of spot. We just didn't give a shit.
Right.
So, and it wasn't like Hoboken small, so not quick trips. So he comes walking up to the window and he's like, "Yeah, what girls? What are you doing? Like, who the fuck is that in the back seat?" And I'm like punching the back seat. I'm like, say it. They're like, "Oh, he's a runaway named Cody." He's like, "Oh, come on. Like, I was going to invite you guys up the stuff's up there."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, why didn't you just bring it down?" I was like, "I just figured we party a little bit." That was his
Yeah.
other thing besides Duddy Martini. He's like, "I just want to fucking party."
Yeah.
He would come to the bar because he would always be stressed out because he was married and his wife was pregnant while this was happening.
Of course.
Of course. So they're like, "Yeah, I almost said his name. Yeah, Duddy Martini. Like we can't because we got this dude just passed out." And he's like,
Yeah.
"No, I'll fucking put him on my back. I'll take him up. Don't worry about it. Like we're gonna fucking party. Like what does he weigh? Like 250, 260?" And am I like in my mind, I don't weigh that much. Like
Yeah.
I was in like peak Molly Coke weight. I was about like a crisp 190.
You're right.
So I almost broke character. Want to be like, "I'm not that fucking heavy, dude."
That was him testing you. He was like, I
Yeah.
don't think this guy's lying. Let me go way over in his weight. How did you say how old this guy was?
In his 40s.
In
Now
his
he's
40s.
probably like 50 something, but he's like, I've seen a picture of him recently and he dyed his hair like platinum blonde. So
Naturally.
he looks like fucking like classic Marshall Mathers, Slim Shady LP, whatever
Yeah.
it is. So the girls are just like, Daddy Martini, just please just, like we just need this stuff because we got other people we're gonna meet. And
Yeah.
I will be honest, like as a drug addict, I not only wanted to protect my girls, I want a
Yeah.
first taste. I want a first taste.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I want a
Yeah.
first toot. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Boots
So
getting
there was a
boogie.
little, yeah. So he keeps pushing it and he starts to open the car door and he's like trying to pull me out. And like, like I'm playing dead Rocky, but I never felt more alive because this was like, this was like a like like, Gary, you got to commit to the bit. You got to
Right.
commit to the bit. So he like starts getting me out, and like I'm kind of like fall at this point. Like the girls are like, no, no, stop, and
Yeah.
like he lets go, and at this point, I'm like, let's just fucking bring this baby home, and I
Yeah.
fall out of the car. But like the whole time I'm keeping my head down. So
Yeah.
because the jig's up, if he sees my face, the jig is up.
Because he knows you.
Yeah, and it's like this whole unnecessarily elaborate scheme.
Yeah.
Like we've said, I could have just sat there in the back seat,
Yeah.
but like that's what happened. It was just like every time he was trying to like turn me over, I was just like, "Ugh, no."
Yeah.
So I would like make pretend like I was trying to come to, and eventually the girls were just like, you know what, we got to find this, we got to get rid of this guy, and
Yeah.
then we'll come back. And then he didn't even wind up having it. That's the worst part. So this guy was like fucking lying because he was like trying to, like, he never gave it to them. He was basically like, if you girls don't come upstairs, we can't party. And it's like, dude.
Whoa.
So yeah, like, and that was like a typical thing with some of our lady friends in Hoboken, where if we were trying to get some drugs, it would be like dudes would be like, yeah, we have it, but you have to come into our apartment.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like this story kind of ended anticlimactically, you know what
No.
I mean? In a good way, because
Yeah.
like luckily nothing bad happened, and we wound up getting coke later anyways.
From someone
So,
else.
from someone else.
From straight up martini.
From no, this dude's name was well, I can't I'll just call him Margarita.
Okay, Margarita. Got it.
We got it with Margarita. Was like our uptown guy.
Okay.
So he went, because you know how drug dealers are, right? It's like they know you want what they have.
Yeah.
So they are either going to make you wait for it,
Yeah.
or they're just not going to answer. Or it's like when they make their run where they got to like see like 5 different people, that's when they'll call you back. Because they know, even if it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, doing coke at 3 o'clock in the morning is a terrible idea. But when you're already high, everything's a good idea.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're down to come.
Yeah. Yeah. So we wound up getting it, and we had a fun night like we typically do. We would always go back to a friend's apartment, dance, listen to music. But like when, Molly and drugs doing weird shit, we would like wind up like, taking paddles and spanking each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was in a platonic way, because we like none of us were like hooking up with each other. It was just like a cool thing. It was like a group of like 4 or 5 people, where it's like guys and girls, where it's like we love each other and like we can do these things comfortably. But no, it's just like a kind of like a goofy thing.
Yeah, I've had that conversation with people before about friend groups who just kind of like really rage together. The only way I can describe it, like the pinnacle that it gets to, is that cover of the Fleetwood Mac album where they're all just laying all over each other, and like each one of them is touching a different like everybody's touching everybody's body. Do you know the
like
cover?
Naked Twister.
Do you know
almost.
the cover I'm talking about?
I don't.
Well, I'll send it to you after this. It's just like Fleetwood Mac, and they're all like, everybody's got their hand on everybody. And I'm like, that is the pinnacle of like peak 20s friendship with drugs and alcohol involved, and pretty platonically. So I can relate to that. Was that the last time you guys tried to reach out to?
No, because we worked at this place like 3 or 4 nights a week, and this guy like he was there almost every day.
Yeah.
So no, that was not the last time, but it was certainly the most interesting time.
Yeah.
As far as like he never asked about the runaway named Cody, which I thought was a little Stephanie Tanner, a little bit rude of him.
Selfish for sure. Very middle child selfish.
But we kind of learned our lesson that night, as far as like we would always do, when you're desperate for drugs, it's like you'll call the numbers you don't want to call, or call the people you don't want to call. So we would do that, but like shortly thereafter, we established a solid connect for that sweet ski powder.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's when you have certain people that are the roster of people that you call and it doesn't feel good, you're like, oh, we got to get down to this person. I more so get annoyed when you're the person who is like, okay, I have a connect, and then everyone complains about the product that your
Yeah.
Connect got. You're like, guys, nobody else had any fucking Connect. Nobody else at this point, not to say that they always don't, but like, I've been in situations before which we still like laugh about to this day. There was one time my friends and I went out of town and I got Molly for the group. We tested it. It was from another one of those drug dealers who like comes into the restaurant all the time because it was back in my restaurant days. Sits at the end of the bar. Everybody knows him. He's paying like $10, but he's having a full course meal and, 15 Jack Daniels. And, that kind of guy who I didn't feel scared of, but you kind of look at him because his hand, every time he sees you, gets a little lower on your back.
Yeah.
He got my friend group Molly once, and we still kind of joke about it because we just had this like hazy feeling. They're like, that sucked, and I'm like, well, I remember us all enjoying ourselves while we were doing it, but twist the story, however.
It's the same thing like getting your friend a job. Like I like
yeah, I'm done doing that too.
especially in the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
But like, weed is one thing, but like when you're giving a co-connect, it's it's a much bigger risk.
Oh yeah.
As far as like one time I gave someone like one of my Jersey City guys, because that was like during like once my addiction was probably starting in 2013. And I gave someone his number, and he like called me up and like was like threatened to fucking kill me.
Whoa.
Until he wanted my money again, which was like the next day.
Yeah.
But like he was one of those guys, you get off the path and where I live in Jersey City, and the bar across the street, you could see him through the window. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it would be like a series of wild nights where I'd get back from the pit already kind of like a little tweaked out.
Yeah.
Like I could go home, and once again, where I live in downtown Jersey City, it's just bar after bar after bar.
It's fun.
So it's like a choose your own adventure as far as like, do you want to make a mistake here?
Yeah.
Make a mistake here. But luckily, as you know, I've been clean and sober for 2.5 years now.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. It's not easy.
No.
It like people say like I beat addiction or I was an alcoholic. Like, no, you don't ever beat it. It's something you fight every day. And it's like another like classic thing that people will say. It's like, that guy is dead. That's the old me. And it's like, no, like that part will always be a part of you.
Yeah.
And I found like, and I'm turning into like whatever the equivalent of like, white women who have the live, laugh, love shit in their house.
I do, yes.
So I'm turning into that almost with like tattoos.
Oh, okay.
So like I have like a Mandalorian one here. It's kind of hard to see, but like one of it means a lot of things to me. But like one of the main quotes from it is like, "This is the way."
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm not like, if I wasted most of my 20s doing comedy at the pit and some of my early 30s, like partying and not like taking it seriously like a job.
Yeah.
So I also have another tattoo I got recently on my thigh of a ghost, because, when I first started off getting clean, it's like you hate yourself, you're embarrassed, and you're trying to run away from the past. And like, people realize like ghosts and demons, whatever you want to call them, they'll always be there to haunt you.
Always, yeah.
But instead of being afraid of them, it's like, have you ever like, it's like, no one ever thinks it this way. It's like, give that demon a hug. Like, give that ghost a hug and be like, you know what? Cause like that was a point where I was like hurting so bad. And it's like, all I probably just I needed that.
Yeah.
So now it's like, it's helped me become a more, holding yourself accountable, just like being more like, this is something that men in general, I feel like don't have, that women do in spades.
Mm-hmm.
And guys are like light years behind on it, but emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And like putting in that work. So like, all of it is like a good learning experience. And that's why it's fun talking about these times. Because like, I haven't thought about that story in a while. And that was like a fun night at a very fun part of my life where it was like the drugs were recreational. They weren't like a necessity.
Yeah, they weren't taking over your life. They were enhancing it in a way. And obviously drug use is always extremely risky, and especially these days with cocaine is riddled with fentanyl, so I don't recommend anyone does it. But it's really bad. Nuts. But it's funny that you say that it's like giving that version of you a hug, because whether people are battling with addiction or any kind of past that they kind of look back on and say, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done this differently, that part of you doesn't die. It just needs to be taken care of. It's like in your caravan of life, and you kind of have to say, put your seatbelt on because now I'm taking care of you. You're not loose in the back seat or loose in the back of a pickup truck. That version of you is still always with you, and it's always in your car, in your caravan. But
That's very well said. Just real quick before you
yeah.
segue, because you were on the segue train. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No,
But
you're
it's
fine.
like you're familiar with Harry Potter, right?
I would say not so much. I would say I loved the first book, loved the second book and third book, and then read half of the fourth book.
Okay.
Did not like the movies because I didn't think they were as good as the books, and I only saw the first movie. So, no. I mean, I know some stuff of it, and I know it's a thing, and I support people who like it, but
I was gonna say, like it reminds me of like a Horcrux, which is like
that's your heart, right? I know that.
it's almost like when Voldemort died, like pieces of his soul.
Spoiler alert. No, I'm just kidding.
Or like well, he's always around, but like pieces of his soul were hidden in certain things so that he could like still be kind of alive. So like
Mhm.
it's like buried here, and it's like it's not something that like I push down. It's something that I wear right here.
You pat on the back.
My
Or the
front back.
front.
My
Your front,
no,
yeah.
you know what? Let's start calling the heart your front back.
Your front back.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, Gary. So you said something that I don't want to reframe, but I want to piggyback on. You said you wasted a lot of your time not treating in your 20s and early 30s, not treating comedy like a business or like a job is what you said. And honestly, I get that. I see what you're saying, but almost if you look at life kind of like I'm where I'm supposed to be and you kind of accept it in that atmosphere, you're killing it right now.
Oh wow, thank you.
And one of the things I love about you is how you're just and I want to ask you about it is you're just like so original with your short videos. So for anyone who doesn't know, Gary does a bunch of different characters almost every day, right? You do a new character or you do a repeat character from a past, you just put them in another scenario.
Yeah, I mean, there was a period like pre-pandemic and like early on in the pandemic, I was like doing it every day.
Uh-huh.
But now I probably say like maybe twice, three times a week.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that I really appreciate that. That means a lot. I think the biggest thing like I see that I don't like is like if like you have like well-known whatevers, it's like they're usually good at one thing or
Uh-huh.
they do only one thing. So I take a lot of pride in trying to do like a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
whether it's impressions or characters or songs. It's like and I just enjoy making people laugh, and I know like how like none of us are okay right now, so that's why I
Yeah.
probably
People are
do it as often
struggling.
as I do, is to it's like I just want people, like if I can make people forget about like what's going on and just laugh even a minute at a time, like makes me like it feeds me as much as it makes people laugh.
And then those people, if our culture right now is so, I can't tell you how many videos and memes my friends and I send each other throughout the day. Then somebody else, if you make them laugh, they're sending your videos to their friends. And then somebody, anytime something brings somebody a little bit of joy in 2021, I feel like it gets passed on via meme or via short
You
video,
100% right, and
you
like
know?
that's where like I'm building a little bit of a following now. It's not it's people sharing things like word
Yeah.
of mouth. So like I think a common misconception like are like comedians make when they're creating content, they're making stuff for other comedians.
Hmm.
It's like your friends are not going to share your stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's very, I mean, like if I'm being honest, like
Yeah.
whether it like it's like I'm not going to share your shit because it's like, well, I'm not in it, so why am I going to share it? Or it's
Yeah.
a reminder that like, hey, I'm sharing something, and then somebody can respond like, well, what are you doing? You
Or
know what I
why
mean?
didn't you share my thing when I posted this? You shared Gary's thing, but you didn't share my thing, and then it
It's
becomes
so
this whole
dumb.
thing. And
And
it's
that was
not. Oh, sorry.
and
I
that
was
was
just
something, no,
no.
go
Go go
ahead,
go
finish.
go go go.
And I used to care so much about that, like
Yeah.
what people in our community thought, and
Yeah.
like how I appeared in their eyes. Like, oh, do they think I'm funny? And it's like I don't give a fuck about any of that now. I know I'm funny, and
Yeah.
my audience is not like the comedians of New York. I don't care about their approval. I want people that have no idea who I am, have never met me before, to be like, and I think something I try to do in my videos and on my Instagram is like, you're not just like seeing like characters and videos and stuff like that, but like you get to kind of get an idea of who I am as a person.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And also, I wanted to ask, in terms of your ideas, well, actually, let me take it back a second, just to build on that. You do something that there's so many comedians, right? We know so many comedians, and like you said, everyone is struggling, everyone's going through their thing, and nothing is a barometer for how much content someone should be putting out, or how much someone should be doing. Everyone is really just in competition with themselves. But that being said, we have heard a lot of people throughout the years who say, oh, this would be a great idea if I did this. This would be a great idea. And I've had millions of those ideas that I've never executed. And you execute, you put your content out. And what happens? What's kind of like your spark of inspiration? And how do you like go about filtering something out and saying like, oh, this would be a great character? Does stuff just come to you and you write it down, or do you sit down and do writing sessions?
Well, it depends. If it's a song, like, yeah. So like I did a song a while ago, like a character I do. It's like your uncle from Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I knew I wanted to. I found a old leather jacket at my parents' house, of my dad's, that looked like something from The Sopranos. So I was like,
Yeah.
I just wrote in my notes, uh, that feeling when you get new leather or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I was like, oh, this should be a song. And
Yeah.
then you find the beat and then you write the song. But sometimes, it's really just a premise
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, I'll write on my, like, I have like a notepad, like, I'm in love with a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll be like, okay. Sometimes I'll improvise it. Most of the time I improvise my videos.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of times it's just premise based, because like you're saying, okay, here's the premise. I'm in love with a ghost. Instead of thinking about all the things that like you could do with it, or like do this or don't do this, it's like just fucking do it.
Yeah.
And it, like, nothing will ever be perfect. Like my whole thing is like, don't let perfection get in the way of progress. And honestly, I'll just shoot a couple of takes, and my biggest barometer is if it makes me laugh and
Then you're good.
I'm giggling as I'm like doing it. Like I have to
Yeah.
like, I'm breaking character, or ones where like they're not just one take, like without cutting. Like if I'm editing it and it's making me laugh, I'm like, that's all I fucking care. If it makes me laugh, and I'm like a pretty tough, like not tough,
But yeah.
but like I like, then I'll know. And it's really just about getting your swings in. Like this is my equivalent of going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So like not all, like most, like all the videos are funny, but some are definitely better than others. So
Yeah.
like I posted a video this morning, as a character I've done for a while. His name is Fat Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a fat filter I put on my face. And his whole deal is, some of it is premise. Like here's like the bit is like, I don't fucking know. Like the premise is like, you're a contestant on a game show.
Yeah.
And like remember Legends of the Hidden Temple?
I sure do.
So like when the temple guard comes out, like it's a premise. So I
Yeah.
wrote that down. I was like, what if he comes? So instead of the kid getting scared, like, what if he
Yeah.
fucking just, so like that is like the premise. And then
Yeah.
others are like point of view based, where like Fat Tony is, it's a very one note deal, but it's
Yeah.
like he's lonely and he's in love. And every time he thinks he falls in love, he's mistaken. So today he saw, I saw this like tall, skinny, beautiful broad. And then it turns out, it wasn't a broad. It was one of those things at the car wash, like the
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's like, he's either like mistaken, or like in this scenario, like he didn't have his glasses on, so he
Yeah.
couldn't tell. Or like a previous video, he fell in love at the mall, and it turns out it was actually a mannequin. So
Yeah.
it's like always like some dumb shit where it's like, I fall in
Inanimate.
love,
Yeah.
but this is what happened. So it's really like, I think people like try and get too cute, where you're like asking like, there's no secret. I think it's just what you find funny and what makes you laugh, and just putting it out there.
Yeah, and also when I'm writing stuff in the beginning, when I started like writing poems and stuff, because I've always kind of written poems like for friends if I had to do like a speech or something like at a part like a wedding party or like a birthday party or whatever. I always try to like write little silly poems, but the first time I did it on my show, I just said, what if I do this? And then I had like, I'd have the pen to paper and I would go, oh, that sounds stupid. That's gross. Like, that's not funny. But then what I would do is just get it out on the paper. And then once I get it out and realize, oh, I'm not going to die. No one's judging me. I'm the only one that's reading this. Am I safe with myself to put this idea on paper? Yeah, I'm safe with myself. And then I can sit down and flush it out and build on it. But I feel like a big hurdle for people is judging their own work. When at the end of the
Oh,
day, it doesn't
absolutely.
matter. We're all gonna die, and so you might as well put some fun shit out while you're alive.
Oh, you're so fucking right. And like your guest last week brought up a good point. Not just like, like the journaling for mental health purposes.
Yes.
But like I also use like the journaling for like comedic purposes
Yeah.
where it's like just writing, like you're saying, writing down your thoughts. And it's one of those things where it's like you ever get in a scenario in life where it's like someone was a dickhead to you and you were like about to say something and you bit your tongue and took like the high road, and then like
Often.
the rest of the day you're like, why didn't I fucking rip into that piece of shit?
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
when you
mean?
have your shower arguments.
Yeah. And so it's like as we're getting older, and as you're saying, like, if the sky opened up and aliens came out like the Avengers movies, I'd look out my window and be like, yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah.
So instead of like, biting your tongue, start chewing,
Yeah.
like fucking eat it up, because everyone's doing it, because now, especially in like the creative realm, it's not just like podcasters or comedians or whatever that are putting out content. It's fucking stay-at-home moms and like
Yeah.
mechanics and whatever. And it's like, do you think they're thinking about that shit?
Yeah.
And
Everyone
usually
has a platform.
the content is good because it's like coming from such a pure place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the mistake a lot of comedians run into, is like the content, like it seems like desperate. And you could see like when you're watching some people's videos, it's like, I don't believe in this. And you could see it
Yeah.
like behind their eye. I was like, well, if you're not like into it, then why the fuck should we be into it?
Exactly, exactly. And speaking of more content, you're kind of like we said, the content king. You push stuff out there. You're constantly doing, and you just came up with a new podcast called "Listen Up and Fucking Listen," which is
Yeah.
based off of your Philly Mark character.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's probably the thing, to people who don't know me that are listening, that I'm probably most known for.
Yeah,
Like a couple of years ago, I started doing a Philly character, and then I started doing what I call like Philly dubs, where I take movies and TV shows and I
yeah.
just re-edit them and put like a Philly spin on it. So all the credit for this goes out to my cousin Cody on
Is
the
he your
show.
real cousin?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay,
that's
just a
Zach
friend.
Garner. Zach Garner performed at the Pit, and other places. He's now back in Philly, and he came up with the idea. And I was like,
Mhm.
honestly, like scared about it. If you can handle the technical stuff, let's do it. So essentially, once again, what you were talking about, like we had like meetings and we are like overthinking it. Like, do we talk about true crime or this and that? It's like, no, what this is truly about is two dickheads from Philadelphia, just talking about life.
And it's
And
all
that's
improvised, right?
it's all improvised, and it's essentially like it's our it's like an in-character podcast.
Yeah.
However, if you were from the Midwest and listened to this, this is 100% believable that it's like these two like pillheads from Philadelphia.
Yeah, you keep saying, I won't spoil it, but the perks thing got me every time. That I felt like was coming from a genuine place. And I listened
Oh
to both
yeah.
episodes that you've put out already, and I thought they were great. And because of that, there is a segment on your show called Han of the Week and
Yeah.
Dickhead of the Week.
That's the
So
whole show.
yeah, we're going to play Han of the Week and Dickhead of the Week in honor of Listen Up and Fucking Listen. So I want to hear your Han of the Week, and I'll tell you mine, and then I want to hear your Dickhead of the Week, and I'll tell you mine.
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot right
I'm
now.
sorry, but I want to hear it as Gary. I want to hear Gary's Han of the Week.
Oh, absolutely. This would probably be I don't think it's a cop out or a cheating answer, but I'm gonna say you're my number one hunt of the week.
Oh my God,
I gotta be
Gary.
honest, Rocky, because we exchange pleasantries and stuff, and
Yeah,
like you were one of those people, and I have this conversation with fellow party god squad, Corey, and a
Corey,
fellow
shout out to
podcaster, about
Corey.
like just like how you meet people and you wish like you got to connect with them earlier in life, whereas like when you for like I feel like your classes and your like class of people at the Pit was like right like after me.
Yeah, you were
So like
performing. I was going to see your shows for my classes.
Oh, cool. But it
Yeah.
would be like one of those people who are like, oh man, like, I fucking love this person. Like, and you want to get to know them better. And honestly, I am so proud of the work you've done. I've told you this before, uh, because it's a perfect balance of funny and heartfelt. And I've like just from the beginning of your podcast, you've grown so much as a
Thank
writer.
you. Thank you.
And I just love like what you put out into the world. Like I like this sound is gonna sound gross, but like when I saw like I smelled you at Young Ethel's.
Like
You're
physically?
like no, like your aura, like your
Oh.
energy. Like I was like, it was almost like tapping me on the shoulder. I was like, who's so I feel like someone here, like I know someone is here if I turn
Oh, okay,
around.
I get what you're saying. That's
I was
Chanel
like,
and marijuana, by the way. That's my
oh,
aura.
Chanel Awana. Well, Chanel wanted to like let you know, like yeah, and it's one of those things where like I've definitely gotten closer with people during this whole thing,
Oh,
whether you get to see them in person all the time or not. And you are certainly one of those people, for me that like I'm a big fan and also like a friend of, and like, I look forward to, future years and like friendship wise, and also
yeah, we
like,
got a lot of life left.
yeah. So you are definitely hunt of the week.
Thank
And
you, Gary. What a pleasant surprise. My hunt of the week is Snoop Dogg.
I liked, okay.
His album came out today, and I love Snoop Dogg so much. I think that he is just he really present day Snoop Dogg right now. He really can do no wrong in my eyes, and I think he does a lot of good for people. So
I
he's
agree
my hunt of the
100%.
week.
I want to yes and this because I feel like if they ever wrote a book about like the American dream
Yeah,
or like a Mount Rushmore, if you will, or something like that, he has to be in that conversation of being up there because, from first when like starting out his career and just to where he is now, and you can make the argument is bigger now than he ever was in his like height of like death row and all that. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Because he's now just part of American culture, whether it's like, the show that he hosts with Martha Stewart.
yeah,
He's someone that I feel like no matter where you went in the country, no matter what age or sex or what have you are, everybody knows Snoop Dogg.
yeah,
Everybody loves Snoop Dogg.
yeah.
And like he is, like there's that game where people ask, like, oh, if you could have dinner with someone, who would you like? He's certainly for me in my top five.
Oh yeah, Snoop Dogg for sure. So he's great, and I learned that his father survived Vietnam. He went overseas to Vietnam, fought and survived, and that the average I don't want to mess it up, but I think the average life expectancy for a black man in Vietnam was 16 seconds.
Well,
Um,
I mean, this is a whole other podcast, but like they sent those poor people there, to die.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course, but I just like to know that that was the average life
that's
expectancy,
crazy.
and then his father came back, and now we have Snoop Dogg. Is just one of the many reasons why Snoop Dogg is Han of the Week, and I love the song on his new album called Subwoofer, so I'm going to be listening to it for a while. Now your dickhead of the week.
Fuck. Dickhead of the week. You know what? Just because it's fresh in my mind. So I've been trying to start a zip card, or zip car. You
Yeah,
know what that is?
yeah, you get the car
And
for the day or something.
yeah, but like it's going on 3 weeks where they like you can't rent a car unless they send you the physical card because
Okay,
it's almost like a fob. You hit it on the windshield and that's how it opens up the fucking door.
got it.
And I've been calling and every time I'm getting the same old runaround. And the guy has the nicest like voice in the world, and he's like, I'm sorry about how like the people are
Yeah,
like customer service, like, I'm sorry about that. That's wow. All right, well, we'll put it in the list. And so I'm gonna actually, after we get off, I'm gonna call them up because I kind of like, as we're getting older and stuff like that, this isn't like Karenish. It's like I want this month, like I want a credit because it's a monthly subscription thing.
yeah,
I haven't been able to use it because the card and I checked the mailbox like it's fucking Christmas morning,
yeah.
and it's just a card to get some stuff done. So yeah, Zipcar, like I'm not really feeling you right now. You're being a dickhead. You are the dickhead of the week, and you
Dickhead of
might
the
be the dickhead of the week next week if I don't get my fucking Zipcar.
dickhead of the month.
Rocky, I'm dying to know who's your dickhead of the week.
Mine is this guy that was behind me in traffic yesterday. He's been on my mind because it was a really congested area in Queens, and I was in front of him, and he was just laying on the horn because I wasn't driving as fast as he wanted me to, even though there was like, I could see that the cars were stopped ahead of me, so I didn't know if he wanted me to zoom down behind them and then so we could sit around and wait. But he just kept honking, and yeah,
It's a dickhead move, and honking in traffic is a dickhead move. And you like part of you, it's like, and because you're a kind and sweet and like big-hearted person,
thank you.
like myself, it's like you try and empathize with these motherfuckers, right? It's like, well, yeah, the stress. Maybe these people are late for this, or it's like, who likes being stuck in traffic? No one.
Yeah.
But like, don't be a fucking dickhead and honk the horn, like.
And you never know who has a weapon in their car either. You see so many videos of these people who are the ones who have all this road rage, and then they get out of the car and they're in people's faces, and they choose people who are like, I will light you the fuck up. Like, don't do it. I wasn't equipped to light him the fuck up, but.
And especially because people will be more prone to film it than actually help you if something like that happens.
Yeah. You're on your own. It is a dog eat dog world, but Gary, in this dog eat dog world, we have each other. And last thing I want to plug before we end our amazing conversation, Beverly, your sketch team Beverly, which speaking of Corey, he called you oh my God, what did he call you on his latest episode?
He called me Dr. Dre.
The Dr. Dre of sketch comedy because you put of this group because you put them together. Yes, he did. That was really funny to me. And tell us a little bit about Beverly, sketch team Beverly.
I mean, I named it after Beverly D'Angelo. I just love her, and like I'm a big fan of like.
She was on Entourage. That's what I knew her from before.
Yeah, she played Babs, like the crazy agent.
She had that really deep voice. She was like Ari.
Yes, Ari. Yeah. So it's just, a sketch group of people I've been wanting to play with. And it's really fun. I think it's just like we call it like sketch comedy with an overbite. It's really kind of hard to say like the style of it. It's like kind of like I write a lot of it, so does Rich Templeton. But now we're at the point where everybody
first guest ever, Rich Templeton.
First
Shout
guest.
out to him.
But like it's such a beautiful collaborative process now. Where essentially we're all writing this, and sketches range from like what a Sunday dinner is like in New Jersey, to the high school version of the Magic School Bus, where they're inside a vagina. So like real weird, dumb shit. Yeah. It's just a ton of fun. I love performing with everyone. And like, fortunately, for now, we're still at Asylum. Our next show is December 20th, which is a Monday at 7:30. Usually we're at 9:30. So like, this is a huge time advantage for people who, like myself, are like old and don't stay out that late. Or like, so there's no excuses now. There's no reason not to come. It's going to be a great show.
December 20th, 7:30 at Improv Asylum in New York City. You can go see Beverly, and you can follow Gary at
DeNoia, and I'm only on Instagram. So that's, find me there and say hi.
Find him there and say hi. If you're not following Gary, you're not part of the fucking bird gang.
Yeah. The fucking bird gang, and like the dog eat dog world, you just got eaten up because
you just got eaten up. Gary, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for doing the show. It was a great conversation, and friends for life, bruh.
Hell yeah, friends forever.
Friends forever. Saved
by the bell.
Friends forever.
What a beautiful way to end it.
Gary, we will talk soon. Thank you again for doing the podcast.
Thank you.
Bye.